Hello everybody, welcome to this video. This will be the first in a series of videos we're going to be releasing over the next couple months with tax planning tips, ideas, strategies that we talk to a lot of our clients about. This video is about saving taxes by putting your kids on the business's payroll. Now there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of things to know. There's a lot of questions to go over. And of course, there's a lot of savings to be had, and we're going to absolutely dive into all of those things. Before we get started, I want to introduce my co-host here, Ashley Schmidt. She is a CPA here at the firm, a pod manager. And my name is Nick Boyd. I am also a CPA and pod manager here at Halon. And diving right into it, there's a lot of savings, like I mentioned, by putting your kids on payroll. A lot of business owners know that, but there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions or maybe some apprehension on business owners' minds with adding their kid to payroll. And the first that comes up is any potential child labor laws that are in effect. It's not the 1920s where you can send your kid out to the coal mines and start chipping away at the ground. No, there's a lot of laws in place, but there are exceptions to business owners that hire their children. And diving into that, Ashley, what are some things to know with child labor laws as it pertains to putting your kids on payroll?
Yeah, this is a major topic, but I think the most important thing to be aware of is that not only do you have to abide by the federal child labor laws, you also have to abide by your state's child labor laws. So it's very, very important to check your state's child labor laws before implementing this tax strategy. There could be different things in regards to the age limit and how many hours they work. It could be a number of things. But when it comes to the child labor laws for the federal government, yeah, you most certainly can hire your kids to help you around the office, and it's actually a quite common strategy that's been around for years.
Awesome. And there's, as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of jobs that you can have them do. Clean the office, data entry, social media management. A lot of kids nowadays are better than their parents, me included. I have a 9 and a 6-year-old. I will trust my 9-year-old with any social media applications over myself. So get them to work with that. What are some jobs that they can't do? It probably goes without saying, but it's worth noting. What are some things that you can't have your kids do, no matter the age, and if they're under 18?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that anything that requires a special skill set or has an age requirement to do something, you don't want your kids to be doing those kinds of things. It could be things like operating heavy machinery, which could also be very dangerous, or even serving alcohol at the bar. It's not a good idea.
Awesome. Well, I guess that ruins my dream of putting my kid in place as a bartender at the family bar. Okay. So what about my 6-year-old? So the 7-year-old, we can get him involved in all of the office duties. What about the younger one? What are some things that he can be doing if they're not yet 7 years old?
When kids are 7 and younger, the rules do change. They can't do the same things that the 7 older can do. But they can do things like performing arts type work. So if you need a website model for your business website, you can put them on there. They can introduce you at a speaking event or a presentation that you might be doing. And yeah, you can absolutely hire them to do that for the business, and they'll get paid for it.
Awesome. How do you substantiate that? What's something that you have to put in place?
Yeah, that's a great question. To make this legitimate, you have to create an image agreement, or basically a modeling contract that clearly states their duties and the pay that's associated with it.
Cool. So there's a lot of you out there that post so many pictures of their kids, Halloween costumes and all the Facebook type photos that get out there. Use those for your marketing, your website, your marketing. If you're presenting anything like that, you can get them involved in the business, and there is a potential to pay them as an employee. And like Ashley said, get an image agreement in place, and and have them start modeling, show that beautiful face out to the world, and get it, get more clients, more customers. Okay, so we've talked now about the legal aspect of it. Another common question that we get about adding your kids to payroll is payroll taxes. Are they subject to them? Is that something that adding your kids on there, do they have to pay federal, Social Security, Medicare, state unemployment tax? Ashley, what are the things to know about payroll taxes and adding your kids to payroll?
Yeah, this is where it can get tricky. So, you can avoid paying payroll taxes and even income taxes on their wages, but the way you have your business set up and how much you pay your kids are the determining factors for this. So, if you're a sole prop, single member LLC, or a partnership, and you pay your kids up to the standard deduction amount, so that's $12,550 in 2021, you will not have to pay payroll taxes, and you won't even need to issue them a W 2 or a 1099 if they're under the age of 18.
That's great. That'll save a lot of money, not only in payroll taxes, but also a lot of payroll companies will charge you per employee. So you actually don't even have to add them as an employee if you're a sole prop, single member LLC, or partnership. But what about those businesses that are S corporations? And there's millions out there, and C corps, of course. What about them?
If you're an S-Corp or a C-Corp, you will have to pay payroll taxes on their earned income if you pay them directly from the company. But there is a way around this, and it's completely legitimate.
Let's hear it. I love to see workarounds like this.
Yeah, so this is the golden ticket right here. So you can avoid paying payroll taxes by setting up what's called a family management company as either a sole prop or an LLC. Once the kids have earned the income, the family management company invoices the corporation. The corporation then pays the family management company, and this could be done through an online transfer, a cash, or check. And then once the family management company receives that money, they can distribute it to the kids.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the way to get around payroll taxes if you have an S corp, and many of you, if you set up a single member LLC to run as this family management company, you don't have to pay for an additional tax return because it'll be included in your 1040. So that will reduce your overhead there, and is like Ashley said, a very good workaround to avoid payroll taxes. And those are 15.3% just on the federal Medicare and Social Security side. So it's pretty substantial and a good workaround. So we've talked about the boring stuff, the vegetables of this conversation, the legalities, what to know. Let's talk about now the savings. There is a lot of potential tax savings, income tax savings to the parents, the owners of the company. Ashley, let's dive in. Let's get to the good part. What are the potential tax savings by adding your kids to payroll?
Yeah, so this is definitely the best part, the tax savings. And as you can see on the screen, based on your tax rate, you can save thousands of dollars. Not just by you putting one kid on payroll, but you can put multiple kids on payroll. So yeah, the opportunity to save on taxes is definitely here if you choose to do this strategy.
And look, adding one kid to payroll, if you're at the 22% bracket, which is a very wide bracket, a lot of you are in the 22, but that's one of the widest. 24 as well. They're the widest, one of the widest brackets. So you add one kid to payroll, I mean, you're saving 3 grand potentially in income taxes. So it's a no-brainer. Having more kids just makes it more of a no-brainer. Okay, so it's a low-hanging fruit as you can see, but the IRS, man, when you're having fun with taxes, they're always going to try to find a way to smack it back down. So, what are the things, Ashley, that the IRS are going to pay attention to if they look at a business who have employees that are also their dependents?
So, some things to keep in mind is that they need to actually do the work. They need to be set up as an employee and get paid reasonably. The IRS could come and try to verify if they had actual earned income, which is basically income you receive for work that you perform. Your kids just can't come into the office and get paid for it. They have to put some sweat equity into it. So, if you can't substantiate that the income was earned, the IRS could deem it as unearned income, which is subject to kitty tax. And if you know anything about kitty tax, it's taxed at the parent's tax rate. So that would eliminate the tax savings altogether.
There you go. So if it's unearned, if they're not doing the work, it is their income is taxed at your tax rate. So there's absolutely no benefit of having your kids on payroll at that point. So it's very important. Make it earned income. Have them do something. The other half to that is make their pay reasonable. So they can't be doing something or can't be getting paid more than maybe you'd pay someone else. But yeah, what are the things to consider when thinking about what's reasonable?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to pay them what someone else independent of your business would charge for those types of services.
Hmm. Perfect. Yeah, you wouldn't pay your neighbor $1,000 a month to lick envelopes. Why would you pay your kid that? So,
That's right.
yeah, so yeah, make it reasonable and track all of that. As we get into the end of this video, we want to talk about a few things that are important to consider, some things to think about, and kind of the remaining frequently asked questions. But Ashley, what are the considerations? What are the kind of parting wisdom of hiring your kid in the business?
Sure. So yeah, I've got four. So as we all know, kids are expensive. So the good thing about employing your kids is that you can keep their earned wages, to pay the everyday bills. You just have to make sure it's reasonable. Another thing to keep in mind is that some states do not have the same federal standard deduction. So you may have to pay state income taxes on that. So just verify with the state if it's different than the federal. And another thing is that, this is a great opportunity to teach your kids about business and entrepreneurship. They can learn a lot about finances and taxes and work ethic by employing them early on. And the last thing, it's very, very important to track everything they do, when they did it, etc. And this is a very high audit area, and if the IRS ever comes snooping around, you want to make sure that you CYA basically.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah, and it was mentioned a few times in this video, and that's not a coincidence. Track it. Track what they're doing. Write everything down. The more details, the better, because the IRS might come poking around years down the road, and you don't remember what happened 2 years ago. So you want to have those things available to you. And like Ashley mentioned, there's other benefits besides just the tax part. It's bigger than taxes, and there's a lot of benefits to adding your kids on payroll. You're running their allowance for doing things for the business through you. You can keep a majority of it if you want to, and cover their bills and give them what you feel like they deserve. Okay, with that, that is the hiring your kids and putting them through the business in a nutshell. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment in the section below. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe. We're going to be releasing more of these here in the near future, and we encourage and look forward to seeing all of you there. Thank you again for watching. Ashley, do you have any parting words for everyone?
Yes, thank you so much for watching our video. And if you ever want to reach out to us and talk more about tax strategies, you can find our contact information on our website, which is linked below. You can also reach out on Facebook, and that link is also below.
All right, thank you everyone for watching. Take care.